Okay, I am here with John Grimm. He is one of the candidates for the Kootenai County Sheriff. And thank you so much for doing this today. And we're going to go over some few questions. But first of all, I want to know a little bit about you. I actually am excited to talk to you because I don't know much about you.
All
Um,
right.
so tell us a little bit about you and why you're running for sheriff.
Well, briefly, I live in Kootenai County for 15, well, a little over, almost 16 years now. I'm a business owner. I have a manufacturing company, and we make small, close tolerance parts. We're known nationwide for some of the more fussy work that goes on. Um, it, I only have one customer in Idaho. The rest of our customers are on the east and west coast. But we make parts for medical, aerospace, some defense work, things like that. I've got four children. My youngest is 23, and I've got two stepchildren. And uh, all of them, actually, my youngest daughter is the only one that's not here. She's down in Redding, California. She took a job down there. So everybody else is here. So, and I'm married to Sarah. She works as an elementary school librarian, and we're just deeply rooted in Kootenai County.
That's awesome.
So the reason I'm running is this is something I've been thinking about for a number of years, because we keep hearing the same problems facing the sheriff's office. And it's not just Kootenai County Sheriff's Office. This is nationwide. It's the same issues of staffing, of retention, of trust, and none of these problems are ever solved. And it's my opinion, if you look at nationwide, there's about 3,000 county sheriffs that are elected, and we seem to be doing the same thing over and over again. And we elect a guy who's just been on the job the longest, or that has the most experience, and they haven't been outside of the organization ever in many cases. And so, from a businessman's standpoint, where, for instance, when I make payroll, I can't make a mistake on that. I have to make sure my employees are paid. I can't go to the county taxpayer and say, hey, I need more. So I want to bring that philosophy into the sheriff's office. People don't leave. When speaking of the retention problem, if you're a business owner and you're successful, you know that people don't leave good organizations. They quit bad managers. And it's not always about money, and money is usually number 3 or number 5 on people's list as to why they leave. And more importantly now, whatever side of this COVID-19 you fall on, the fact is the economy is in serious trouble, and with nobody working, and gone are the days of shoveling more cash at public organizations, because the county commissioners are already looking at people possibly defaulting on their tax bills, and what are we going to do? They're having to make decisions before that even happens, because it's going to happen. The next sheriff is going to be faced with serious budget constraints, and those affect your property taxes for everyone that wants to buy a house. So, anyways, I don't want to go on too long. So.
Oh no, you're great. That's perfect.
One other thing is, even though I was a reserve deputy for a short time, I was there long enough to see the difference between some truly exceptional peace officers and community-minded men and women, and the opposite. And I don't like the direction that we've seen in some sheriff's offices and police departments as of late. The direction we take, where it's more of a law enforcement, heavy-handed type approach rather than a community-oriented peace officer type approach. And that's what we need here in Kootenai County. Things are different here in Kootenai County. You arrest somebody, you're going to see them at Walmart. You can't be a thug.
Perfect. So let's do, what is your favorite thing about Kootenai County?
It is still a small town. It's kind of neat. It's less and less now. But when Sarah and I were first dating, we would go out to a restaurant or something. Invariably, we'd see somebody, or I'd see somebody. She's like, "Wow, you know everybody." It's like, no, this is just still kind of a small town. And that we can't. I'm not one of these people that says, close the door, and I'd be hypocritical if I bash Californians, because I moved from there and brought my business and my family 15, 16 years ago. But my point is don't forget why you moved here. Things are different here. And, you know, we have something unique about Kootenai County is you might have a $700,000 house next to a trailer, but you know what? The kids play together, and they should.
I love it. Perfect. So what is one thing that everyone, like one thing that everyone needs to know about you?
I'm fair.
Mm,
I'm
perfect.
pretty opinionated on things, but when it comes to treatment of people or individuals, especially as it relates to from a law enforcement standpoint, regardless of your personal lifestyle, your appearance, or anything like that, or past history, the law enforcement and peace officers should treat everyone and protect everyone's rights. And it doesn't matter if you live in an apartment or if you live in a house or anything like that. And I think you can see that if you go to my website under Grimm for Sheriff, what people are saying, you'll see comments of that nature.
Oh, that's great. So what is your favorite restaurant in Kootenai County?
Oh, the porch.
The Port.
Yeah, here in Hayden on what are they on Miles? Yeah, on Miles.
Yeah, I have a friend that works
That's kind of our stomping ground. We've been going there, and they have good food. I razz them about the service. Their service. Sarah and I go in there often enough that I've got a couple of I'm going to mention their names, Sarah and Ian. They all give great service, but Sarah gives me a hard time, and my wife Sarah kind of enjoys it, you know. But they're never disrespectful, but it makes for a pleasant environment. And so, you know, I actually threatened her. I said, I don't know if you know it, but I'm a professional Yelper, and I threatened her with a 1-star review. She went and got her phone. She says, you have to read these 1-star reviews we've got, and they're hilarious. You know, it makes me want to go there. So.
Exactly.
Anyways, but that's Kootenai County for you.
It is, and that's that community you're talking about.
Yeah.
So what's the first thing you're going to do? So after court, I know that we're in stages right now, but after everything is lifted, what is John going to do? What's the first thing you're going to do?
Well, probably going to start frequenting the small town or the small business restaurants here in town. You know, one thing we discovered is the value that you get when going to a restaurant rather than a fast food chain. You know, you can eat cheaper doing takeout from Blue Plate than you can from McDonald's, and you get a lot better burger and you get a lot better value for your money. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Sarah and I are, you know, we spend a lot of time focusing on our relationship, and we've missed that opportunity to go out. So we'll be doing that. So.
You know, I'm ready to hit some patios and go to my favorite spots too.
Yeah.
What's one piece of advice you would give a younger you?
Oh. Invest in Yahoo or Google.
Right? That's actually so smart.
Yeah. Boy, that's a good question. I probably would, if I was able to go back and talk to myself when I was a teenager, I would have suggested perhaps to pursue maybe a career in the military first. I've got a lot of young men that I've mentored over the years that have since joined the military, and they're really doing fantastic.
Yeah.
But for me, you know, that wasn't an option. My sister and I kind of raised ourselves, and so we didn't have a whole lot of direction. So fortunately for me, I kind of fell into the trade that I'm in, and it's been very good to me. So
that's good. So give us some closing remarks of things, your statement of just tell us a little, anything else you want to add, and then also your contact. If people want to reach out to you for questions or want to visit your site, just give us all your contact as well.
You know, there's a story. I've got a young fellow. Well, I say young fellow. He's in his 20s. That's been helping me off and on in the campaign. And one of the stories he tells me in the beginning, and I want to be clear. I mean, I support law enforcement. I was in law enforcement. But there's things that can be done to improve. And what this guy tells a story. He picked up some friends. I can't remember exactly the story. If he picked them up from the airport or if they were just getting ready to leave or whatever. Anyways, a couple of friends of his from London, and they were in Seattle. And it was late at night. And they're walking around, and these two Londoners said, "Hey, there's a restaurant we've heard of in Seattle we want to go to." And I don't want to say his name because I'll give him away. He says, well, I don't know where that is. And one of the Londoners sees two Seattle police officers doored up in a parking lot. And they said, let's go ask the police. And Jake says, I don't know if that's a good idea. Well, it turns out they went up and approached the police officer, and the lady cop got out. She says, hey, I know where that restaurant is. Hop in, I'll take you there. Oh, and right? See your reaction? You didn't expect that. So during the ride, he tells her, he said, I wouldn't have done this back home. And right or wrong, whether they've earned that or not, that's the perception of some young people. And this is a law-abiding, upstanding young man. Whether they've earned that reputation or not, that's the perception, and that's what we have to deal with. So I want to hire and train people that have that sense of community, that want to go back to what, when I was a kid, we were taught there were two people other than your parents that you could trust when you needed help. And that was your school principal or police officer. We need to get back to that. And one of my personal things, through personal experience, through learning from some really fantastic police officers and sheriff's deputies, you really can have almost every interaction with young people to be positive. Mm-hmm. If they're not doing something, you don't roll up on a scene where they're throwing rocks through a plate glass window or committing a felony. Every interaction should be positive. And I want officers that, even if they issue a citation, the young person goes away and says, well, I got a ticket, but the guy wasn't a dick. So, sorry to be
perfect. Yeah.
So my contact is grimforsheriff.com. With this quarantine has been actually kind of handy for us, because we decided from the very beginning we were going to have a large social media presence, even against advice. I had people that had run campaigns, say 8 years ago, and were successful, and they were like, don't spend any money on social media, do direct mail only. And I'm like, dude, technology's changed, okay? Everybody is on social media. I tell you
things. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's served us well. So grimforsheriff.com. And here's the thing, if you were the one that said your generation, you have to get involved. And my advice is, well, first of all, to get your ballot this year, you've got to request one. I've got a link on my website. It's the very first deal. There's a picture there. Go on, do it by mail. You only have until May 19th to request the ballot. So you got to get on it, and it has to be back by June 2nd. But even if I'm not one of these guys that advocates voting for voting's sake. You can do more damage than good if you vote for the wrong person. So one thing I tell people, especially younger people, you don't have to fill out every spot. Vote for the people that you know that you're comfortable with, and leave the rest blank. Or spend 30 minutes on Google with them and figure out what they are. So it really is that important. And I tell you, if voters don't start doing more research, you guys are going to be left with a mess.
Mm-hmm. So. Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate
Thank you.